What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Genesis. Now, you'll read by the title, I think big things are coming for Genesis, and I'll explain exactly why, because it may be some things that people haven't considered. I also want to talk about the upcoming midterms, because the results are starting to filter in, everything's in the balance, but I haven't really touched upon the fact that whoever wins is going to give us insight as to, well, it's going to tell us what the future of crypto is going to be in terms of regulation, in terms of what's attempted to be pushed through. So very relevant for all of us in this space. Before I get into that though, I hope you have the spreadsheet. Now, if you are new to the channel, you won't know what this is. These are the first 26 coins that I spoke about on this channel. The first 26 coins I held when I made this channel, and had you put in $100 into each of these when I released the videos about them, and you'd done everything wrong, never sold them, just ignored them, rode them down into a recession, you'd still have made 8.8k in profit. And that's profit. Now, and that's doing everything wrong. Remember, the principles are effectively buy low, sell high. While I don't fully agree with that as a sentiment, that's the overarching message of investing. If you'd have done that, if you'd bought them and then sold them last year when the markets were flying, you could have made 123 grand. Massive difference between doing the right thing and the wrong thing. I sold all these. They're not what I'm invested in anymore. If you want to see the coins that I own, you can go read copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my entire portfolio. I share every coin I buy. I share every coin I sell. I have beginner's tutorials in place, step by step, for anyone that wants to get into the space and doesn't know where the hell to start. They're the same videos I pass on to my friends and family. And look, guys, I deep dive these markets daily. I'm always looking for an investment that I think is going to get huge returns. Like I said with Phantom, I did a whole Udemy course. I've only made one, and it was about Phantom, and I said it would 100x. It obviously did way more than that, 677x. If you put 2 grand, you'd have been a millionaire. And when I find the next Phantom, I'm not going to do a Udemy course like last time. I'm going to go onto the site and tell the members. So if you want to find out and get in early on one of the next big gainers for crypto, go read the site. Everything is verifiable as well because it's all on the channel. So link is in the description, guys. Right, Gnosis. Really low circulating supply, first of all. I like that a lot. One sec. Get my drink. Really like the low circulating supply, hence why you've got a crypto at like $92. Chart actually looks pretty damn good when you look at it. You know, I had a really good run in the 2017-18 cycle, hit the highs of 400, rallied all the way up to just shy of 600 last year. Overall, looking pretty damn good. So if you're unfamiliar with Gnosis, it is effectively infrastructure for the Ethereum ecosystem. But in November 2021, XDAI and Gnosis DAO community voted to combine the ecosystems to create the Gnosis chain. So this is a companion, like an Ethereum companion, that deals with scaling issues. And obviously Ethereum has massive scaling issues, which is why we've got so many layer 2s. Remember, scaling is just about effectively being able to get higher throughput, being able to get more transactions per second. Layer 2s are going to be vital just because Ethereum effectively created, moved to proof of stake. It doesn't mean their throughput's going to be any better. Certainly not to the requirements needed for the crypto community, which is why the layer 2s are so necessary. So Gnosis chain is the associated execution layer for the Ethereum virtual machine chain for all stable transactions. And it uses XDAI's token as well, and includes a ton of different projects and users. The whole mission has been centered on experimentation. Now, I like that, but you do have to acknowledge that there are real concerns with experimentation because things get missed in experimentation. Take YAM. When YAM happened, that was a video I did, like, everyone got into YAM. It was $500 million just flooding into YAM, but the team had said it's experimental protocol. I said to everyone, get the hell out of YAM because it's going to crash. They've not checked the code thoroughly. and then there was an exploit, and it tanked. So experimentation is wonderful, but it comes with high risk. So people need to be aware of that. And they're also trying to build a decentralized infrastructure for Ethereum. Now, when Genesis was founded, it focused on building prediction markets. And while creating the prediction market platform, Genesis realized that they needed to build infrastructure required to support it. Genesis Safe was one of those things born out of necessity. So they've created multiple protocols now. They've got Genesis Safe, Cow Protocol, which was formerly known as Cow Swap, and Genesis Protocol. They've got conditional tokens, which are like the prediction markets. You've got Genesis Auction. They've got Zodiac. And they're all products that Genesis has formed. The Cow Protocol ended up being hugely successful in the short term. And Genesis rallied very, very well along with Cow Protocol off of that. When we check Genesis, right, their premise is, look, build new market mechanisms for DeFi. Their product's interoperable and allows people to create, trade, and hold digital assets on Ethereum. That's important, right? That's the key thing. They've also created the Genesis Ecosystem Fund, and they fund up to $100,000 to build on Genesis. So that, for me, is always a massive plus. Here's money. We're willing to give you up to 100 grand to come and work and build something that's going to bring value to Genesis, to the ecosystem, to the world of Genesis. I like that. That always fills me with confidence. The Genesis DAO is a collective that uses Genesis products to guide decisions on development, support, and governance of its ecosystem. So the Genesis DAO is effectively your governance sector of Genesis. It's how the voting mechanisms work so that we can decide how Genesis has moved forward. Their protocol has been up and running. They've been building protocols since 2017, trying to bring better ways to trade to Ethereum. As a result, they've got Genesis Protocol version 2. They've got the Cow Swap DEX as some of the options. Then you've got Genesis Safe, and that's based on creating fund management solutions for users. And again, Genesis Safe has worked really, really well. It's a very trusted platform, and they've got multi-sig on there, so the security is nice and tight. They've also got safe apps that you can use to invest, earn, borrow, invoice, or do payroll. So you can start integrating payroll you can start integrating crypto payments potentially into how you want to do things within your business. As you can see, they've got a few different things that have been built, from Energy Web to Rockside to Gelato Network. There's plenty of projects that are building upon Genesis, so they're looking good. I quite like the forum as well. The forum's really active. It's worth a look, because the forums are the place where you talk into the community, you start learning, you really start picking up. And one thing I've always said in crypto is, if you're getting into this space, start joining those Telegram groups, those Discord groups. Start learning from the people around you. You can't understand the value it brings until you've started doing it and you've really got deep dived into it. And the developer portal has, the introductions, the tech docs, and tutorials to build products, whether it's conditional tokens, whether it's a Genesis Safe, so you're building an app, or whether it's the Genesis Protocol and you want to build a DEX or something. Fundamentally, look, they really are starting to push on that growth. I think they've got a hell of a shot of really rallying, because they are offering really different, well, not completely different, but they've got a few different solutions that are not that common out there, with a tiny circulating supply. It looks really strong. Most of the tokens are out. 86% of the tokens are out. Could this hit $1,000? Of course it could. They put it at 2.5 billion market cap. That's not unreasonable. Because again, one thing that people need to bear in mind, and it's really vital that people do bear in mind, is Ethereum is going to rally crazily in the next bull cycle. Now, is it going to hit 10K? Who knows? Maybe, probably. But it could hit 8K, it could hit 10K, it could hit 20K. We don't actually know how high it will go. But what we know is Ethereum will be the most used blockchain. Of course it will. Nothing is going to overtake Ethereum in the next 4 years. So with Ethereum being the most used, that means the most layering solutions are required because its throughput is piss poor. So things like Gnosis, things like Optimism, things like Polygon, Cartesi, Immutable X, Chromium, all these things, all these layering solutions are going to bring immense value to Ethereum, and as a result, they're going to grow hugely. And they'll grow at a bigger rate than Ethereum will grow. Ethereum maybe in this bear cycle drops to $500, maybe, right? Maybe it hits 10 grand. That's 20x. But the layering solutions will do 40x's, 50x's, 60x's. Now, I'm only saying effectively about 11x for Genesis, but I do believe it can do that because they've got the products in place and they've got the ecosystem growth push in place. And as long as Ethereum can do those gains, as long as Ethereum doesn't have like the worst exploit in history, which it would have to have for Ethereum to fail, the layering solutions are going to do well. Genesis is one of them for sure. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about that? Do you think it can do more? Am I not being generous enough on it? Let me know. If you're a returning viewer as well, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get that subscriber numbers up, trying to get the amount of returning viewers that haven't subscribed down. It does wonderful things for the channel the more it grows, in a number of ways, whether that's getting guests on, whether that's getting on to like being positioned into different YouTube channels or podcasts or whatever. It does wonderful things for the channel, so if you can do that, that would be great. Guys, if you want to see the coins that I own, go read copymycrypto.com. On that site, I share my portfolio. I share the coins I own. I share every coin I buy and sell. I have beginners tutorials, step by step, perfect for anyone just getting into crypto. I deep dive these markets constantly. I share any coin that I'm getting in on, why I'm getting in on it. I'm looking for big gains, like I got with Phantom. When I find another Phantom, I'm going to go on the site and tell the members. So if you want to make the big gains and just copy along without having to do any work, you can do that. And I'm always honest with my assessments. I've said this for months. We are not. The bottom has never been in on Bitcoin, and there's potential for greater depth, which is why I've never gone, I'm throwing thousands and millions into one investment, because they were always all going to drop more. So if you want the assessments as well, I give that on the site. So go read the site. Links in the description. Last thing. Who wins? Right now, just checked all the major news channels. It's pretty much a split. Last time I checked, it was Republicans have 199, so they need another 19 seats to run Congress. Now, if Republicans do secure a majority in the House and the Senate, the US could be facing more political gridlock over the coming years, given that the White House remains under the Democratic control. For crypto, the election matters, given him, are going to be particularly important with regards to regulatory clarity. The crypto industry is widely expected 2022 to be the year when regulatory clarity finally arrives. I think probably next year, and to be honest, it could be 2024. I don't expect governments to do a good job and do things efficiently. Now, the general sentiment is that Republicans are more favourable of crypto than Democrats. And that's generally true when you look at overarching tweets and overarching discussions that they've all had. You know, Brad Sherman, who's a Democrat, became known in the crypto community in 2019 when he proposed a ban on crypto asset purchase in the US. He followed it up with more sarcastic remarks about crypto, like Bitcoin could be displaced by Ether and various obscure altcoins he referred to as a hamster coin, a mongoose coin, etc. So very dismissive. But a Republican-controlled Congress would push more aggressively to pass bills that the crypto industry is asking for. Additionally, Bloomberg also noted that Republicans are likely to put pressure on regulators like the SEC to ease their aggressive stance towards the crypto industry. So as an example, one coin that would benefit hugely from a Republican Congress could be XRP, because obviously the SEC has gone after XRP very hard. So if the SEC were told to piss off and back off by the Republicans, that would be very good for any coin or any crypto that's under the investigation of the SEC. It's a really interesting scenario, but right now, you know, the predictions are, you know, we're in a coin toss sort of scenario. I think it was 199 for Republicans versus 179. For Democrats, you need 218 to control Congress. So obviously Republicans are ahead, but there's still quite a lot left, and there's still a lot of big states, blue states knocking about. So it's going to be interesting. I'm fairly indifferent to whoever gets in. The governments, I don't trust them, but Republicans would be better for the crypto market. That's just based off of the history of everything each respective party has said. But today there's going to be a ton of volatility in the markets. Tomorrow there's going to be even more with CPI data. So just be careful out there, guys, because it's going to be crazy. Anyway, that's it from me. Take it easy. Bye-bye.